This is a secret company just recently added to the game and it's exclusive to Sweden. It doesn't show up in the potential companies list until you fulfill certain requirements. We're gonna be establishing it in today's run, in which we also managed to form Scandinavia in 1842. We bullied Russia into giving up Finland and the entire Baltic Sea coast, and we reached $250 million GDP before the 20th century. So let's get into it. And here we are as Sweden. Now in this run we will be forming Scandinavia, so for that we will need to have 3 more states, and we will get those states from Denmark. This is going to be our first target. Before we fight Denmark, however, we need to secure some treaties, otherwise we will have some big boys joining to defend them, and we don't want this to happen. So we will draft a treaty with Great Britain. We will request them to support our independence, we will give them investment rights, power block embassy, trade privileges, and then request an alliance. And as you can see, we have minus 67 acceptance. Now if we hover over to the acceptance added from power block embassy, we can see that this is modified by minus 11 from ideological similarities of our governments. This basically reflects that our governments are very different. In our government we have church and landowners, and Great Britain starts with petite bourgeoisie and the industrialists, I believe, and we don't have these guys in here because in our case they are marginalized. This is not going to be always the case. You might be able to get them with a 5% clout, but in any case what we need to do is reform the government and make our government more similar to theirs. So we're going to add in petite bourgeoisie and confirm. And now if we return to the treaty window, we can see that the acceptance is minus 26, which is much more acceptable for us. So we can owe them an obligation, we can give them a little bit of a money transfer to make this at least plus 30, and boom, we can secure this for 5 years. There we go, they accepted our treaty. Now also I like to get a treaty with the Netherlands because they also tend to join that war, so we will just get a simple defensive pact, trade privileges on both sides, and this is easy as it is. If you don't get at least plus 30 acceptance, once again, this is a bit of RNG. You can just give them a tiny bit of money and secure this for 5 years. With both of these treaties established, let's just set up our country, and of course we can just immediately start a diplo play, make protectorate, boom. So we're gonna go for our research now. Let's queue up everything when it comes to production. So because I can see that atmospheric engine is being researched from tech spread, we can go for something like mechanical tools, and then we will get water to boiler into railways. Let's go to our building list. We will be switching some production methods. We can switch out government administration to secular administration. The same we will do between universities, and even use philosophy department. Subsidize our trade centers so that they always can actively trade. Now if we go into our budget, we can temporarily reduce the government wages, increase the military wages. Don't really have any profitable consumption taxes that we could impose right now, like services 700, that's not really good for 200 authorities, so for now we will just leave it on liquor, and for a bit we can increase our taxes. Of course, now let's go back to our government, and we will be making it a little bit more legitimate by getting back the church, landowners, and adding in rural folk, which is required for us to pass a different trade policy. We start with mercantilism, which sucks. We're gonna go for protectionism. We have 7% success chance. It's not great, but it's better than nothing, so we can try and get this. If it doesn't work out later, we can try for something like free trade. When it comes to our construction, we're just gonna check our market, and we can see that we have a little bit of a shortage for tools, and because we have the iron frame buildings enabled, we're gonna need mainly tools, wood, and iron to support more construction sectors, so we're just gonna make sure to queue those up. I'm gonna start with a few iron mines and then put up a couple of tooling workshops, and later on we will get whatever resources we lack. And also, of course, when we build, we do want to check our overview window for the states and see if we have enough infrastructure. Like for example, in Sweden, we don't have that much infrastructure, but of course we're gonna get the road maintenance decree. Resource industry for more resources. Let's go with the greener grass campaign, and we can even promote social mobility. I'm gonna leave a few authority points laying around because this will allow us to get the laws a bit faster with the enactment time reduction. If you don't want to rush the laws, then you can just grab more promote social mobility decrees to increase your literacy. But Sweden starts as the 4th most literate country in the world, so it's not like we have many issues when it comes to that, because we actually start with level 3 education, which is very good. Although we definitely need to get either private or public schools, because we are right now empowering the church by a lot. With each level they get plus 10% power. Pretty much the same thing with law enforcement. We need to switch to a different law to not empower the landowners because our current government really sucks and these guys have a lot of clout. Okay, let's go ahead and get some rivalries. Let's go and rival Saxony, all these Germanic minor countries. We can declare some interest so we can get even more possible rivalries. I'm gonna go for one in Rhine. And because in this run we're definitely gonna go for South American expansion, I'm gonna mark some interest here as well as Africa. It's gonna be very important for us to expand here to get more rubber and of course to empower our future power block because we will need to have some good protectorates. Honestly, I think what we can do in this run is just go for all Scandinavia, so that would be in Denmark, Finland, and a little bit owned by Russia here, which is Kola and East Karelia. And that would be all of our European expansion. Otherwise, I just want to expand in South America, Africa, and maybe even Asia. As the war starts, we can just go ahead and mobilize our units, send them to the Scania front, and we can get some extra supplies. Not that it's really necessary because we're going to be bringing in Great Britain into this war simply because we can, so why not? And to be honest, we can even get a little bit of a money transfer from Denmark. We can grab like 3,000 over here, make this a primary goal. Yeah, so Prussia wants us to give up investment rights, but guys, realistically what we can do is ask them for a little bit of money, especially if we want to give them like an obligation, then we can get even more cash, and this is once again just gonna help our economy quite a lot at the beginning. Let's do 5 years for now. So considering that we just got this pact and that we're gonna get some more money from Denmark, maybe let's put a couple of construction sectors to the front of the queue. I'm actually gonna build 4 of those right now, and I will even increase the taxation a bit. There we go, guys. Denmark just backs down. They didn't even fight us, so we can go ahead and improve relations, and once our truce expires we can reduce our autonomy and form Scandinavia. Until then, let's get some additional rivals, and then we can begin improving relations with all of the great powers. Maybe except Russia, like we're probably gonna fight them in the near future. The rural folk petition government and they want racial segregation. Well, that's usually a pretty easy law to get, so I don't mind it. Honestly, after we would have gotten protectionism, I was really thinking about going for public schools because religious schools are really bad for us right now as they increase the church power by so much. But we can make some space for racial segregation for sure. Alright, so we have a new king, Oscar I, and he's in the intelligentsia interest group, which means we have to remove the landowners and switch them out, as this will give us a little bit more legitimacy. Alright, we're nearly down to 0 infamy, so it's time for us to continue expanding. I was trying to go for Uruguay, but honestly, they are kinda protected by France. They most likely would join on their side, so let's skip on this for now. Let's go for Gaza, good old Gaza. Annex country, boom. Actually, it's very beneficial to go for the Boer states at this patch because they now are guaranteed by Great Britain, so we kind of just avoided that guarantee by having the alliance. As long as we have it, it's good to take it. Now we only have 18 ships though, so we're going to make a second army and we're gonna grab 18 battalions in that army just so that we have 100% effective naval invasion, and let's get a general for that. I will also go ahead and upgrade all of our units now. That's right, guys, we have less units than Gaza, but it doesn't matter. Our units are stronger than theirs. They pretty much have paper thin units, so we will crush them. And we're about to finish building our tooling workshop, so we can go ahead and queue up some coal mines. I was just about to say, we got atmospheric engine. We have a nice state for coal, which is Scania, so we're gonna queue up like 5 coal mines because we're gonna need this with our new production method. And of course, we also need to get road maintenance decree. So we're gonna go ahead and switch our mines now, and this is gonna require us to have coal. We also can take a moment to switch some other production methods, such as textile mills. I think I'll immediately go for cargo ports because we don't have that much infrastructure and convoys. And we just unlocked central archives, so we will be able to switch our government administration buildings to get more bureaucracy as we will start incorporating brand new states. It will cost us bureaucracy, and to support that new production method, once again, we're gonna need some new buildings. We will build up some paper mills. Boom, there we go. As we annex Gaza, let's incorporate this. Let's go immediately for Transvaal next. There is a chance that Portugal is actually gonna join that one. There we go, boys. We finally got protectionism. It did take a while, like 3 years, but we got it. Now let's go for racial segregation real quick. Alright, this will be it for now. Let's leave Zulu because Portugal is probably gonna come in, and I would like to do that a bit later on when we don't have a lot of infamy, because we're about to start our next war with Denmark. Our truce is gonna expire very shortly. We're gonna have some movements here after we took these new lands in Africa, so actually let's just go ahead and suppress them right now. So hopefully Great Britain is not gonna invite us into their power block until we deal with Denmark, because I would like to form our own power block right afterwards if all things go well. If Great Britain invites us, then we would certainly join because we don't want to upset them. And we don't want to upset the great powers right now as it is. And alright, there we go guys. We can reduce autonomy. Let's go. Actually, France might be joining, which is a bit scary. We also have Russia with a good chance to join it. We just have to pray. Hopefully everything's gonna be okay. Don't do it, France. Don't join the war. Is this actually going to work? I'm not even going to invite Great Britain. And there we go. We started our war. Let's crush these boys. Actually, guys, I think I will take this opportunity and form our own power block right now. Let's make this a sovereign empire so that we can subjugate our power block members. Our first principle is gonna be vassalization. And tell me guys, especially the Swedish viewers, do you like my power block name? Because I love it. I think it's amazing. Here we go. Okay, Great Britain really doesn't like us anymore because they immediately withdrew from our agreement. So we no longer have an alliance. Can we still secure it somehow? Yeah, I don't think so. That's minus 88 acceptance. Maybe we'll be able to get like France or Prussia on our side instead of them. Okay, for our new production, we're gonna need some sulfur and fertilizer. We don't have sulfur right now. We don't have access to sulfur. Our only mines are in Norway, but we're about to get Norway, so we might as well begin building some in Western Norway. Let's get a couple of these. Let's get like one fertilizer as well. We reduce the Danish autonomy, so we can go to our diplomacy, nation formation, and we can form Scandinavia, which is gonna give us plus 25 prestige. Awesome, awesome, awesome. And we immediately inherit Norway, Denmark. We can go to our state actions and we can incorporate some of the states that haven't been incorporated. Look at that, boys. We already have the 7th rank. Now, if we increase our government wages, we are able to reach the great power status, which means we will have a huge loan interest rate reduction and we can really bump up our economy now. Even though we have a quite powerful country right now, there is some problems that we need to fix. One of them is bureaucracy. Then we need more influence. We need more construction, and we also need to switch our production methods because we have a bunch of new states, so we will go with the latest stuff. Apart from probably tooling workshops because we don't have steel yet. Like, we have one steel mill. So yeah, we need to build some steel first, and we will start building in Gotland. So let's get like 2 steel mills for now. We already use up all of our infrastructure in Sweden, so we cannot build anymore until we get railways, which are being researched, so we will get these soon. And since we're here, let's just queue up everything for the production again, because we're still going for the open hearth process. Now back to the buildings, switch our production methods, and the most important one right now is going to be the Go administrations, because we're going for standardized filing system, which is going to give us a lot of bureaucracy, so we need to build less Go administration buildings this way. So let's get some construction sectors in Gotland. Let's go for like 7 for now. 3 government administration buildings, and later on we can even start building up some arms industries because we're going to upgrade all of our units right now. And until we have these built, we can just enable some subventions. Like on bullets, we can just go for high subventions for now. So Argentina will be an awesome protectorate for us to get. Chile might join, so that would be awesome. Now regarding the rivals, Russia, we hate them. Let's go for the Ottomans, let's go for Spain, and let's stop improving relations for a bit with some of these guys because we need to have the influence. We have 20 units, guys, and we have 20 ships, so we can use this army for the naval invasion. Also, let's not forget to go back to medium taxes because look at our radicals. We have 1.5 million already. That's not perfect. Maybe, you know, we can get rid of the radicals, get some better laws enacted. And guys, once we have 79 escalation, we're gonna add in the second nation that joined them, which is Chile, so we will make them a protectorate as well. Now let's just hope they won't back down. And they do back down. That's so unfortunate, man. We will need to wait for Chile now because we get a truce with them for 4 years. Okay, what can you do? At least we have someone in our power block. Now, when it comes to nations like Bolivia, we can't really go for them because they have United States. I don't want to mess with that for now. Let's just go for a different play. Let's try and get Mosquito Kingdom. Looks like only Portugal would potentially join, so that should be an easy one again. Yeah, Portugal does side with them. Okay then, boys. Okay then. We'll grab some stuff from them. Actually, they have growing colonies here, so we probably don't want to take this stuff. But we can take their Lorenzo Marquez part. We can take North Angola as well if we want to. We don't want to take the colonies because we don't have a colonial law yet, so it's not like we could grow them. We need to get a quick embargo against Russia to complete our lobby demand. Sure. And this is going well. We have a naval invasion. We're winning the battle. So awesome, awesome, awesome. Portugal is also suffering. Always good to see. That's what you get for joining the Diplo play, dude. Why would you even do that, man? Like, that's not smart, buddy. And we have railways, guys. So now let's go ahead and build first in the states where we have negative infrastructure. Let's only do domestic buildings. So Scania, Schleswig-Holstein, we can do Gotland, Eastern Norway. And I guess we can just build like one railway in all of the states anyways, because we will need to switch our production methods. We'll also go ahead and filter some of these out where we have construction problems. We're not gonna waste our time with these buildings. We can get this traditionalist to step down, which is nice. Maybe we can get like a moderate guy that would be much better, but he's a theocrat. Of course he would be. Alright, this war with Portugal is done. We don't need to do crap anymore because they're losing a lot of war score. We occupied what we wanted. So we can just chill, reduce our payments for the military. Thank you very much for these beautiful states. And look at that, with just a couple of members in our power block, the mandate progress is so much faster. It's only 6 years to get one now. We'll just scout for like new openings and try to get more and more members. We just need to make sure that they are like at least unrecognized powers or minor powers, otherwise we would not get any progress from them. At least this law was quick. We have public schools, guys. We could actually go for laissez-faire. Like, this is very possible right now. And I would love to get it, so let's try. We're spending 33,000 on iron right now, so maybe it's not a bad idea for us to grab a couple more iron mines. I'm gonna just go ahead and max out in Gotland, and ahead of all of our buildings we will put this railway, which we badly need. You will never escape me, Chile. You can back down all you want, but we're making you a protectorate. Oh wow, in the meantime the Ottomans are not having the best of times, I see. What's happening, bro? Austria and Egypt, they're gangbanging them, holy crap. Well, that's an Austrian Wallachia, and that is also an independent Egypt. There we go, guys, we have laissez-faire, so we get another 25% reduction for our loan interest rate. Actually, this is pretty good, guys. We could go for a dedicated police force. This will appease a bunch of factions, and later we can try maybe get homesteading, and we could use that to get no migration controls, because we're gonna have both petite bourgeoisie and the rural folk with much higher loyalty. Let's see if that will work out. If not, then probably we can push for something like total separation, which is easier to get. And we have our first mandate finally, so we can add a new principle to our power block. Pretty much in all of my runs I go for construction as soon as possible, but honestly this time I don't want to go for the United Construction Conglomerate because it doesn't give you a prestige good, and we will go for different companies which will cover the same resources that are covered by this company, so tooling workshops, steel mills and glassworks. Guys, this is actually one of my favorites, level 1 creative legislature, because it's amazing even at the first level, and you can later just switch this out for something else. I will use this to get like the best laws that we can get, and then we will get something more productive, like maybe a company principle. Finally, guys, we have access to our own munition plant, so I'm gonna build like a couple of these because we have high subventions for the bullets, so we can remove the subventions afterwards. Oman is cooperative to us, and we cannot really, you know, take them by force, because if we make them a protectorate, Russia and Austria somehow are very interested. So yeah, we're kind of avoiding that, but maybe we can improve relations and maybe draft the treaty. Guarantee independence, investment rights, trade privileges, they want all of that, so let's establish this. We could use that leverage to just invite them to our own power block. We cannot really go for homesteading yet, the chance is pretty low. It's best if we wait a little bit, because we're gonna be able to add this land reformer to our government after another 3 years. So in the meantime, let's actually switch our plan and go for colonial exploitation. Let's grab a few universities now as well. I'm gonna get like 10 in Gotland in Sweden. These are still like our main states. We can get like a couple of universities in our other states too. We're gonna have these railways built soon, so we will be absolutely golden. And to be honest, we can push for more construction, guys, because we're on positive balance, so why not? And there we go, boys. We have Oman in our power block. We got them diplomatically. And because it is a sovereign empire, we can just subjugate them easy as that after 5 years. Honestly, maybe we can do the same thing with Peru and Bolivia with our power block, because it's gonna be difficult to just fight them, as there's potentially multiple great powers joining. So let's see if we can get them diplomatically. And guys, because we have colonial exploitation, we can start colonizing. I'm gonna go for Northern Cape first. Let's grab total separation. Dude, why are we so rich? Why are we so goddamn rich? Let's go for more construction sectors. Holy shit, guys, we have the United Netherlands formed. Honestly, I don't remember the last time I've seen AI do this. That's actually quite wild. Okay, now we're cooking. We can reduce autonomy of Argentina. There is a country that we can invite to our power block. Ecuador, welcome. I'm gonna start drafting treaties with the other guys, such as Peru. We can just give them a tiny bit of money for a short time. And we can get this established for 5 years, which is gonna allow us to jag them in shortly. Okay, we have an industrialist naval leader, so we can go ahead and promote him to level 5. I'ma just, yeah, you retire, my boy. Let's see, maybe we can get a good general as well. All of these guys are armed forces, and the church, it really sucks. Looks like we will have a lot of firing to do. We have another mandate, that's amazing, but we don't have access to the third principle yet because our power block is only at rank 7, not rank 5. So I think I'm gonna wait. I think I'm gonna actually just wait and have this mandate available so we can get like 2 levels later for the third principle. Not really interested in vassalization or creative legislature upgrades. There we go, guys. We can grant leadership to our boy over here. And this means that we can pass homesteading at a much higher chance now. Oh my god, why the hell does Great Britain own Zanzibar? What the hell happened here? How did I not notice? Oman was cut down in size. That's really sad. That's actually really sad. They're down a rank, so we actually get less progress now. It's time, guys. It's time for us to take what belongs to us. And I'm, of course, talking about Finland and the rest of Scandinavia. We don't have any infamy, so we can do a massive war. And there wasn't ever a better opportunity because remember, guys, how we took a couple of states from Portugal? Well, it's gonna really help us now because we can make Portugal our protectorate. They are small enough for that. And look at that. Who is this? That's right, that's Russia protecting Portugal. Now let's not get ahead of ourselves, we need some support for this. So what I figured we can do is draft a treaty with Great Britain and get an alliance because they still don't have one. Minus 77 acceptance, but if you remember what we did at the start, we can do the same thing. Remove temporarily intelligentsia, add in the petite bourgeoisie, and if we draft a treaty, the acceptance is much better. So we can give them investment rights, trade privileges on both sides, obligation, and we can cover the difference with a little bit of money. And I will actually grab this for a longer period of time because we can afford to have such a treaty with them. Boom, there we go. Now next up, let's get a nice general. Fire a bunch of dorks over here. Get out of here, fools. We can get this trade unions guy to improve their clout, so we can promote him to level 5. Let's give our army some additional supplies. And we're gonna get some conscripts, but I'm not gonna rush with it because I just want to make this completely perfect. And I don't want anyone to back down from this deal. Okay, so now, make protectorate. We're just gonna make sure that Portugal doesn't back down, so we will request to give up all of their cash. Sweet cash. Russia sides with Portugal as expected. And now we will sway in Great Britain with call ally. We could even get France, to be honest. They want one of our states, and that's Carnatic. Oh, that's the little state that we have in India. 80,000 population here. So we could get France by giving up this tiny piece of land, which is pretty ridiculous, but we don't need France in this war, I'm pretty sure, unless somebody else joins, then we could add him as well. Okay, there we go. We're about to have 79 escalation, and now we're gonna add some additional goals. We have still 80 maneuvers. So first of all, transfer subject Finland. I was actually gonna steal the Baltic governorates as well, but that would be 40 infamy. That's pretty crazy, and it's not in Scandinavia, right? So it's not like it's a part of our goal. Maybe we can grab them later. But we will focus on getting Kola and East Karelia, so we will also conquer these states. Now we're talking, guys. Now we're talking. Let's humiliate Russia as well. Screw these guys. Now we can put our units to the Russian border over here. And let's not forget to get some conscripts. We're just gonna max out on the conscripts and we can have 83 of them, which is not bad whatsoever. Yeah, I don't think we're gonna get on good terms with America anyway, so we will just rival them because we need to have some influence. Let's stop improving with these guys as well. And I guess until we do get our conscripts, we need to fire a bunch of dorks again. Holy crap, we have so many generals. Yeah, so let's just put our generals to defend front for now, until we get our conscripts. Amazing, the war started. Okay, Great Britain, take your time, you know. There we go, we have a huge stack here of Indian soldiers. So you can try, Russia, you know, you can try, but there's not much that you will be able to do against us here. Because we strong, boys. Oh no, Portugal has begun embargoing Scandinavia. Whatever will we do now? It's not like you're gonna become our subject in a matter of moments. Oh yes, guys, we finally got open half process. Now, if we got a little bit lucky, we would have gotten corporate charters just by waiting out and getting tech spread. but we're just gonna go ahead and unlock it ourselves now, and then we can establish our first amazing company. And honestly, we can just immediately follow it up with joint stock company, so we can get 2 of them. Then we Q9, I was gonna focus this, but we are getting this from tech spread, so that's cool. Great Britain already occupied everything for Portugal, so we have them as a protectorate. We also get a nice little money transfer. Thank you very much for joining us. At the same time, let's go ahead and make Oman our subject. So we already have 8 members in our power block. It's growing. We're gonna have 9 soon. Guys, Russia is already dead. It's already dead. I love it. And to think that we could have gotten this 5 times faster by giving up that tiny state in India to France. And since we have Q9, we can go for level 3 colonial growth. I would really like that, to be honest. Boom, guys, is this not a beauty? This is amazing. We have the entirety of Scandinavia and it's only 1859. Now the world is really our oyster. We can do whatever we want to. I'm just gonna go ahead and quickly reduce the subject payments and exempt from service Finland so we can reduce their liberty desire. Finally, they have the rightful overlord. Matter of fact, we still have Zulu here and they were kind of protected by Great Britain, but since we have this nice alliance, we can do something here, you know, if you know what I mean. Okay, these guys are still petitioning for poor laws. Sure, we can establish that real quick. Let's fix our government. We're gonna go with industrialists and intelligentsia. Almost forgot that. Holy shit, this is insane, guys. East India Company just started a diplo play against us. Return state. They want Omani Baluchistan. What the hell, bro? Guys, it's not like we can get any support here. I might just give it in because this is nothing. I don't really care about that tiny state. Mind you, it's the state right here that we're talking about with 50k population and no resources. Guys, you can have it. Okay, looks like we can establish a nice little pact with Bolivia, so that's soon gonna be another subject of ours, or rather a power block member. Guys, we have corporate charters available, and this is the amazing company that we were scouting to get, and this is why we needed open hearth process. LCAB is gonna give us iron mines, prestige good of ore ground iron, and 20% iron mines building throughput. It's actually insane, and we can add an additional industry for steel mills to this one. So that's exactly what we're gonna do. Let's go with trade rights and investment rights. It's okay, -5 popularity for our executive is not too bad, that's fine. He actually has a basic entrepreneur trait which gives more throughput, so that's nice. I think for the second company we're gonna go for the prestige paper. And now guys that we have poor laws, we can establish a health insurance. However, we could go for public health if we just get in our boys into the government, so that's exactly what we're gonna do. So that's a really good indication that we need more paper. That's -400. We also need a crap ton of tools, to be honest, and we need fabric. So let's queue some stuff up. We will need a crap ton of tools. Let's get another 16 built here, and then let's go for some paper mills. We can also do that in Sweden. Let's get some cotton in Transvaal. That's a nice state to build it. And we can definitely afford to have some construction sectors in Transvaal as well. I'm gonna build like 5 there. Oh yeah, let's not forget to switch out our decrease. We had the enlistment efforts. We can go back to our lovely road maintenance decrease in the states where we're building stuff. Alright, so guys, for our consumption taxes, definitely at this point we need to remove liquor because it's barely giving us any revenue and costing us 100 authority, so that's not good of a deal. We can definitely replace that with tobacco, however. Let's get some manufacturing going on. Alright, amazing stuff. We can have up to 4 levels for our health system, so that's something that we will actually prioritize, so we will need more government administrations. Alright, there we go. Our second company is here. So we gotta go for the paper, right? Because tools would be really nice. We don't have tools, but we can only pair this with iron mines and steel mills, so that would clash with our previous company. Yeah, let's go for the paper. You can't go wrong with this one. It's amazing. Craft paper is used in buildings such as universities, government administrations, and explosive factories, so it's really nice. And we can give an industry to logging camps, so that's amazing. Now with our research, let's push for dynamite and steam donkey. We didn't go for nitroglycerin because I don't really want to go for the additional mortality for our pops, so we will just skip that and immediately establish dynamite once we have it. Couple of colonies that we were establishing have been completed, so let's establish new ones. I'm gonna cut off the Cape colony over here and let's get a colony in Western Guinea. Okay, at this point, I trust our government. We can establish some automatic expansion for our buildings, for most of the buildings at least. I prefer to keep an eye myself on railways, government administration buildings, arts academies, and so on. So we will only have like farms and manufactories and mines on automatic expansion. Alright, let's go for wealth voting. This is gonna give a ridiculous amount of loyalty for all the relevant groups. So that's gonna allow us to pass some better laws. We're having a bit of a hard time with petite bourgeoisie, so we're not going for no migration yet. We also still have protectionism. We could go for free trade. Maybe this is going to be our next law because the landowners are kind of gonna be irrelevant after we get rid of oligarchy. It's actually pretty crazy how we still don't have the top 5 power block, guys, after all this time. We have 912 prestige, and if we look into the all blocks listed, we can see that the 6th place has 945, the 5th one has very close to it as well, and even Russia has just above 1000, so we can easily overcome these guys and finally establish our third principle. We actually have a couple of mandates available already. We will have the third one after 3 years. So what we're doing is we're building up a couple more ships. I also hired a bunch of naval leaders. We will just fire them shortly because we did manage to get a general with explorer trait, which is going to make it much easier for us to do expeditions with him. So we're just going to send this guy to an expedition shortly. And expeditions are like the best way to increase your prestige because if you complete one, you get like 25% additionally. And of course, we already have our first prestige good, which is the prestige iron. We get 36 prestige this way now. And shortly, we will have the prestige paper too. I think, guys, we can chill a bit on our production research now. Let's go into the society tab. Civilizing mission is gonna be amazing for max colonial affairs institution investment, and then we can push for human rights so that we have access to multiculturalism, which we can hopefully later get. Camera is another good way to get more prestige, but I think we're gonna be fine without it. We can just let it unlock by tech spread. We did manage to get wealth voting, and we have a bunch of new parties now. People's Radical Party, 45 legitimacy, that's okay. Sure, next we can go for proportional taxation. Already is gonna give us 21,000 revenue additionally. And we will have an election after 170 days, so maybe we can get more legitimacy after that. There, you guys are fired. Get out of here. Now, hopefully, once we start this expedition, we will have the choice for our amazing explorer. And we do. There we go. We can send this guy over. At the same time, we can continue subjugating our power block members. In another couple of years, we can subjugate Bolivia as well. And there we go, guys. We already, without even completing the expedition, we have the 5th best power block, so we can add the 3rd principle. I'm just immediately gonna go for level 2 companies, and with the 3rd one, obviously, we're gonna get a new company established, so that's gonna be amazing. And with bad news comes some good news as we actually finish our first expedition, and this gives us a crap ton of prestige. So we actually have the 3rd best power block now, and we could get the 4th principle once we have this mandate unlocked, which is great. Now, as I say, this will drop down to the 4th place, of course. Germany, yeah, guys, you're not getting Schleswig-Holstein. Let's be real here, okay? We're gonna assist France in this war, and we're gonna take these guys out once and for all. Okay, we might need to get a couple more decrease enlistment efforts. There we go. And we can, of course, get some conscripts now. There we go. In total, we're gonna have like 120 conscripts, so that's gonna be quite costly. We can increase our taxes at least a little bit for this war. We're still kinda losing here, so I'm gonna defend front now until we get at least all of our conscripts. There we go. And we have a new mandate, boys. Now, there's no rush for the 4th principle. Let's just go with level 3 companies because I do want to get another company now. I think it's really between the munition producers and between the food conglomerate for me. Honestly, our population is not that great. I would love to have this additional birth rate. So maybe let's go for this one first. One of my favorite companies for sure. Okay, boys. Okay, now we're looking good. Let's push these bastards. Germany, your time is over, my friend. We also just got guaranteed liberties. Let's see what we can get next. The petite bourgeoisie is not gonna like it, but let's try and go for no migration controls. Hopefully we can pass it. We're just gonna quickly suppress the supremacist movement. Bavaria is in a default. We have occupied a good portion of Germany, so this war is not gonna take that much longer now. We also have an election. Let's see. Oh, nice. We can get good legitimacy with the industrialists and the intelligentsia. Sure, let's go. We did manage to get no migration controls pretty fast. No problems whatsoever here. And we do have a tiny percentage to go for multiculturalism, but honestly, the chances are way too low in my opinion. Like, this is not gonna be great because the rural folk and petite bourgeoisie totally oppose it. We're just gonna keep an eye and wait until we get like an agitator that supports multiculturalism. Until then, we can get compulsory primary school, which is gonna give us more max education so we can max it out. And guys, we still have appointed bureaucrats, so honestly, getting elected bureaucrats would probably be pretty damn good for us considering how many levels we already have for the institutions. So we might get that soon as well. Come on, Germany, just surrender, boys. It's over, my friend. It indeed is over, and they have been cut down in size. Let's go for more expeditions. We can do a Tibetan expedition now. So this way we can steal Tibet from Great Qing. We got the event Cross-Border Accident in our expedition in Tibet. In itself, it's a funny name for the event, but it made me realize one thing. August Gunderson is our executive for one of our companies, but he's also a politician at the same time. He's the leader of the industrialists. I think this is my first time seeing something like this. And pretty interesting how we can change his ideology through this event. Actually, mass conscription, endorsement, and colonial exploitation doesn't sound bad because he's a moderate, so we can go for it. You know, it's always cool seeing mechanics like this. One thing that I really hope that they will still introduce is getting rid of the executives, like making them step down somehow. Maybe even like if you had secret police so that you could imprison them, or like have some kind of a business scandal related events when you have a secret police. Also pretty cool how we can increase the command limit of our general. Expeditions are really overpowered. I love it. We actually have this communist here ready and available, so we could go for a communist run this time. I actually don't know if Scandinavia gets like some kind of different color if you go for Council Republic, but it just sounds wrong. It just sounds wrong for Sweden. And to be fair, I already did enact communism when I played Canada. Yep, so guys, I think it's a very good moment for us to reduce the rural folk power by getting commercialized agriculture, because this will empower the trade unions more, as they will attract more lower strata pops to support them. So this way, honestly, we're taking one thing off for multiculturalism, because rural folk are gonna be annoyed at it. Unless, you know, if they're marginalized, so then we only have to care about petite bourgeoisie. Right, we're done with the expedition to Tibet. This is the last thing that we need to do. Issue our demands. We're gonna go with the first option here. Expedition to Tibet is completed. We get them as a protectorate. Sometimes when you complete the expedition, Qing is gonna try and save it, so you will get into a diplomatic play with them and you can easily take some juicy stuff from them. In our case, it didn't happen, which is fine. We're just gonna go ahead and grant own market to Tibet because they are isolated. And I was gonna just go and invade them anyways, but they do have Russia on their side, so maybe we can chill for a bit. There we go. Let's add the fourth principle to our power block now. Not something that I usually pick, but I want to go for freedom of movement this time so that we can get plus 50% mass migration attraction at the last stage of this. So let's try this out. Absolutely awesome, as we now have access to another company. So yeah, earlier we were thinking to go for United Sweden Munitions, but I've changed my mind. I will go for the premium armaments so that we can have the high-powered small arms, and later on we will add an additional industry to automotive industries for this one. I think it's gonna be great. For now, we can just keep it as it is, and actually we have one free charter. I will use it on our food company, and let's add an additional industry to livestock ranches here. There we go. We're gonna start upgrading our education now. We're gonna max this out and get level 5. We have a decent literacy, but we could definitely work on it a little bit more. So yeah, our primary focus right now is gonna be to switch all of our construction sectors to steel frame buildings. I'm gonna make a switch in Sweden right now, to be honest. We can get another 5 right here. There we go. And once we have all of our states switched, then we will focus a little bit more on universities. So let's continue building in other states. In Gökalp, let's get some steel mills and of course glass works. Now if we get the trade unions in our government, we're gonna have a little bit less legitimacy, but we can for a while stay on low taxes, and we can actually will need to lower the taxes even more, and then we can pass some laws. We can switch our poor laws to old age pension, which is gonna really appease the trade unions. All right, we just completed gourmet groceries, so we now have 3 prestige goods being produced. If we check our prestige, we can see that it's impacted by 114 from us being leading goods producer. We're the top producer of gold, clippers, iron, and we're the second producer of a bunch of goods, as well as the third producer of a bunch of goods like small arms, steel, rubber, and so on. And we're producing craft paper, ore ground iron, gourmet groceries of course now, which is not yet shown up, and select fish. It must be one of our subjects prestige good. Guys, we're actually finally getting some mass migrations because we have the second principle for freedom of movement, so we get plus 50% mass migration attraction. And of course, we're yet to get multiculturalism, which we're gonna try and aim to get shortly because we do have this agitator available here, Enlightened Royalist, so he endorses multiculturalism. We just need to have some space, so we need to wait until we can exile one of these guys. As you might notice, we also don't have any more infamy, and we're gonna take care of that very shortly. As you can see, we have prepared a bigger army. We have over 250 battalions, and we're gonna get some more ships so that we can do some nice naval invasions. Holy shit, guys, we have a German-Russian war. This is gonna be wild. Austria already joined on the Russian side. So Germany just decided to conquer Warsaw. I was gonna go for a different war, but I think this is actually the perfect opportunity for us to strike. I would like to steal Baltic governorates from Russia. We need to have it, boys. So let's see if they will have Austria on their side. If they get Austria, I'll get Great Britain, but otherwise I think we can just one-on-one Russia. There we go, mobilize our stacks, go to the Russian border. We can, of course, get some conscripts, and I will just go ahead and max out. If we want to be safe, we can just cancel some of our current ones, get some enlistment effort decrease, and we can get way more conscripts this way. Yeah, Austria does side with Russia, so we will get Great Britain as an ally. That's easy. That's a very easy choice. And let's see, maybe we should take Ingria to like connect our lands with the Baltic governorates here with West Karelia. To arms, boys, we're going to crush these bastards. And we are gonna take some additional stuff other than the Baltic governorates. As you can see, we have 87 infamy now. Okay, while we're fighting, we can focus a little bit more on the economy side of things, and we will get some power plants because we have access to electricity. So I will just build domestically at least one power plant in each of our states so that we can switch our production methods, and then we will just build as many more as it's going to be needed. I'd like to have some more universities, to be honest, because we don't have many of those. Let's make sure that we have at least like 20 universities in all of our Scandinavian states. Okay, we can mark some objectives. Let's go occupy Baltic governorates. And you guys go occupy Kaunas, one of the Lithuanian cities, the old capital of Lithuania. Right, Russia is losing a lot of war score. As you can see, guys, Austria is already out of the war. We're totally crushing these guys. The war is done. And boom, we get a couple of states. We get United Baltic Provinces. Let's go ahead and incorporate this stuff. It's very expensive to incorporate though, so we will need to build some good administration buildings. Oh, I didn't notice that we lost a general. Okay, let's get a new one, upgrade this bad boy. And yeah, before we forget, guys, let's fire one of our agitators and let's get the royalist. Welcome, Joshua Norton. Now we need to grant him leadership and we need to pressure his movement. He's in the feminist movement. Okay, so we need to cancel this Zulu one and let's go bolster up feminist movement. Oh my god, we're brought into another war because Germany wants to have Schleswig-Holstein. Well, that's not gonna happen. We will protect our precious province. I think for now, let's go ahead and raise our taxes a little bit because these wars have been painful on our economy. We have a lot of loans. Maybe we can send one of our armies to the Baltic front over here, because there is a little pesky army trying to occupy it over here with 23 battalions. Right, good stuff, guys. We can get Petite Bourgeoisie in, we can grant leadership to our agitator, and now we can reform the government. Let's see. 11% success chance for multiculturalism. Good enough, let's go. Japan backs down against Great Britain. What? Oh no! I was actually, guys, I'm not gonna lie, before we fought Russia, I was gonna go and make Japan our protectorate, but I figured I really wanted to steal Baltic governorates, and now Great Britain subjugated them. These bastards, man. France wants a defensive pact. Honestly, might not be the worst thing for us to get. I'm sure for 5 years, let's accept it, since we're really cooperating with them anyways here against Germany. Finally, the wars are over, guys. The wars are over. Oh my god, Germany got a bunch of countries inside of them liberated. We have Rhineland liberated. Brunswick, Lippe. This is great. This is great. They're so much weaker now. And we can go ahead and reduce the military wages. We're not going to be fighting for a while. We're going to go and get rid of all of our conscripts because we just have so many of them. We don't need them right now. Of course, we still need to fix this. Let's get back our road maintenance decrease. We will need more resources, manufacturing ones. Construction goods are very expensive right now. Steel and glass, 150,000. That's something that we need to tackle. We lost our agitator. We're still getting multiculturalism, but we already have a very good chance to get it, and we're on the drafting stage, so no problem. And since we managed to get multiculturalism, we're gonna get a lot of mass migrations now. It's gonna be awesome. We can finally switch out our creative legislature as we have most of the stuff that we could wish for. Like, this is a super good law system that we currently have. So we're not going for construction this run. I think we can go for militarized industry. It's not something that I usually pick, but it's going to be interesting to get that 10% bonus for a bunch of military industries throughput. And later on, we will also have 10% automotive industries building throughput once we unlock it, as well as at the third level, 15% military goods cost reduction, 33% supply route cost reduction. So let's go for this one. Hey, and we finally breached 100 million GDP. Alright, now when we're looking at our technology, we're getting so much innovation currently, it's crazy. Tech spread between 83 to 251, so we're just breezing through these technologies, and we're gonna finish identification documents. That's gonna be the last tier 3 technology on the society tab, so we can immediately afterwards go for corporate governance. Yet another company established. If we reduce our loan interest rate even more, let's see how much we have right now. We have 3.3% currently. It's gonna go down even more. And of course, if we were speaking about companies, we can still get one more company afterwards, and that's with the help of our laws. We can switch our monarchy government to a corporate state, and I think this might be something that we will do right after we get our current law. Yep, so we still need some electricity. We're gonna just continue queuing up power plants as long as they are productive, and we can stop here. I like this, I really like this. With the event without illusions, we can go for the third option, which is gonna make all utopian characters to adopt the corporatist ideology, which is gonna make them endorse corporate state, which is something that we're gonna try and get. And about other laws, we don't really care because we already have like the best law system out there except for corporate state. Look at our population graph, guys. I believe this was when we got our multiculturalism and our migration attraction bonus from the power block. So we had a nice spike going upwards, and we're now getting around 600,000 population yearly, which is really good. Alright guys, let's go ahead and build a skyscraper. Wow, we have a lot of mass migration targets now. 4 states in Scandinavia, and we also have mass migration in Ingria. And our South African bits also have 2 targets, so we're getting a crap ton of population. Don't have any corporatists. That's actually very interesting how we don't have any of those. Positivists are neutral towards corporate state, and if we check for petite bourgeoisie, what do we currently have? We have an authoritarian, and he doesn't have a stance in it, so it doesn't really matter if we switch him or not. We can just try and get corporate state just like this without an agitator. Maybe it will work out since we do have a nice success chance for it. Our skyscraper in Sweden has been successfully built, so we're gonna get a nice bonus for prestige. We're gonna need a few arts academies here in Sweden, so I'm gonna queue up some of those. And now guys, that we finally got our corporate state. It did take us a while to get it, but we finally did. We can establish this brand new company added in 1.9. It's a unique one for Sweden, John Paradox and Company. To get it in the first place, you need to have a skyscraper built, you need to have 20 electrics industries and 20 arts academies, and also you need to unlock zeppelins through your research. So that we have all of this stuff, we will be getting 25% additional prestige, 25% additional leverage generation. I don't think these bonuses are like really significant, but it's a cool company that you can establish. Unfortunately, it doesn't even have like a prestige good, but it does have an additional industry that you can give out to coal mines, paper mills, which we already covered. I'm gonna form it anyways, and there we go. Let's add in coal mines. Oh wow, what happened to our... Oh yeah, we lost a lot of authority after getting corporate state. Okay, we're gonna cancel some of these greener grass campaign decrees that we had because we had a ton of those. And yeah guys, look, we have 6 different companies, we have 5 different prestige goods. Well, we're about to get a high grade explosives. Great Britain has been doing incredible in this run. Look at that, 2.4 million from East India Company. Hudson's Bay is earning 1.2 million. They even have Great Western Railway Company, which is making them 700,000. Our companies are not yet that productive, but we could surely catch up. I think this was a great game. We reached 250 million in GDP, nearly 2000 construction. It's not even 1900 yet. We have 22 standard of living. We can actually click on our flag and see all of our stats here combined. We can say that our power block is the second best. We're the 5th when it comes to GDP. East India Company has 370 million GDP. It's nuts. It's actually nuts how much GDP the AI countries can reach since 1.9. We're the 8th when it comes to population. Great Cheng obviously has a massive population with 400 million, but we are the first at something, and that is standard of living. The people in Scandinavia are the wealthiest, and we can check over here. We can see that our upper strata is just lavish. They have 64 standard of living. Even our lower strata exceed the minimum expected standard of living twice. So I hope you guys enjoyed this run. If you did, be sure to click the like button. Let me know in the comments what other countries you would like to see in Victoria Free. Subscribe, and I will see you next time. A big thanks to all the YouTube channel members. You guys are all amazing.